Next team up in the Central Division, the Chicago Bulls. Are they buyers, sellers, or inexplicably stand patters? I have no idea what they're going to do. And I think the questions here are just sort of easy. Are they a blow it up candidate? Is Alex Caruso or Nikola Vucevic available, even if they're not blow it up candidates? And if they're looking to continue to make a run with this core, can they add shooting, wing depth, and or another big? They have a bunch of needs as a buyer. And you could also ask, like, well, how does Lonzo Ball's trajectory impact this? It's very clear he's just not going to play this season. So you
Yeah.
need to operate under the assumption that you're not going to have Lonzo Ball. I have their most likely player to be traded as Kobe White, even though I think that it should be like, I'm all for tear it down. I don't say that lightly. I say it because they could actually do it. Like, you could get something for Zach LaVine and DeRozan and Caruso. I don't know what you could get for Vooch at this point, but he's expiring. They're just in such like an uninspiring position right now. And they've had some like hotter spurts during this stretch, but like when you go, and the trade idea I have for them is just like, I couldn't even come up with like a buy trade for them because they're so pick encumbered. They have their pick this year is going to go to Orlando. It's top 4 protected, which is the argument, by the way, against them blowing it up, because then you risk sending Orlando this really valuable pick. They also owe their 2025 pick under top 10 protection to the San Antonio Spurs. They do have Portland's lottery protected first round pick coming in. That's probably, well, I won't say probably. There's a chance though that doesn't convey.
Yeah.
It's protected. That's one of the worst protected picks protected through 2028. What was Neil O'Shea thinking? I think he was the one that made that trade. So I don't know what they do. I don't like coming on this podcast saying I don't have a feel for what a team should do or will do. Rather, I know what they should do. I think we all know what the Bulls should do. I just don't have a feel for what they will do, and also what can they feasibly do.
I mean, to me, I don't have a lot to add. I think so. If you're just looking at, say, between Caruso, DeRozan, and I don't know, throw LaVine in there, I guess. I mean, how many first round picks, like good first, do you think those 3 guys should yield? Is it like 7? I mean, if you're thinking LaVine
You were
might
going to
get
give up 5 first round picks for OG Anunoby.
right, yeah, I'm real loose with the picks today, but that's all to say. Like, I mean, look, I'm not the right guy to talk to about the Bulls because I was as out could be on their whole way of thinking on the Vucevic trade, and we're talking 2 years ago now. Like, I just, and it's already, I'm going to write about this. I think it's one of the worst trades in the last 5 years, like pretty comfortably, just because, not just because of the assets. Wendell Carter, I think, has been a better player than Vucevic over the life of that deal, which was like not the plan in a win now trade. And Franz Wagner is probably going to be better than both of them. And there's that other pick that should convey this year. It's a question of how good it's going to be. But more so than the particulars, just the overall idea of the Bulls were trying to win in the immediate, and they just like didn't do it right. They picked Vucevic to be a center, on an offense first team, and it just wasn't a big enough value add. And now here they are, and Vucevic, they might just lose him, free agency, which would probably be fine. Like, that's not a good place to be. So this is a teardown to me, and I would want all the picks I could possibly get to sort of, refill the cupboard in that regard. And because I also think like the alternative is we're going to add to this roster, like how, with what, and to what end, because I don't see a trade that's even remotely feasible that gets them into the, I don't know, even not like, forget Boston, Milwaukee, Philly, like to the Cleveland tier of the East. I just like, I don't see it. And so then like, well, what's the point? So yeah, I think they're sellers. And I think it's just as much as anything, because like the buy route just almost doesn't work. I don't understand how you make that work.
I don't even know what. Let's just say they were willing to dangle the Portland pick. What is the matching salary you're using if you're not trading LaVine, DeRozan, or Vooch? Who wants Lonzo right now? Is someone willing to? Well, I would actually take a flyer on Lonzo if I'm a team, but like the value, like, are you giving up the first round pick to get off of Lonzo's money? Is 2 years and about $42 million left on his deal after this one. And then so once you get past Lonzo, everyone else makes below $10 million. And so
Right.
now you're giving up like not real stuff, but like you're going to have to go Patrick Williams or Alex Caruso in addition to Kobe White to get a Gary Trent Jr. or Malik Beasley. No, you're not doing that.
Yeah, well, Williams is the guy. We hadn't mentioned him until you just did. Like, if you're packaging a player with a first for a win now move, he's got to be it. And like you said, he's making 7.8 million this year, and like that's just I don't know if that's going to get you there. But Willie, that would I was complaining that there's like I don't see a route. Like that's about it. I think is if you're trying to get a veteran to help you, Williams probably has to be the guy to go. And like, it's not like Williams, I don't know. I'm mostly out on Williams, but man,
He's not throwaway. It's
yeah,
not like
exactly. You're not just
who's
giving him
the player
away.
that's like, yeah, you would give him up in an OG Anunoby trade for sure,
Yeah.
but Patrick Williams a first and like, what's that? Like, what
Kobe
is the,
White.
yeah, like that's not doing it. Maybe Caruso, Patrick Williams in a first.
But
Like,
then if you're trying to win now, isn't
right,
Caruso important? Like it's just
right, he
also
is.
the big thing to me is like in an alternate reality, how different are things if Lonzo Ball just is healthy? Because he was so obviously critical to them when they
But
were
is
at their
he?
best at the
Is
start of last year.
I know what he did was so connective and critical, but he's not the difference between this team being 11th and 4th in the East. Is he? I guess his 3-point volume and defense are just two things that they need so
That's the
badly.
thing. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like you're playing pretty fast and loose with like small samples because when they were great to start last year or better than they've been since then, it was just him and Caruso wreaking havoc and the ball was hopping around because Lonzo was out there, and just none of that has persisted since he's been out. So it's sort of you just have the the two comparative sections of this team over the last couple of years, one with ball, one without. And with ball, they were good, and without ball, they've not been good. And it's just, I wonder, like, would we even be considering like a blow it up thing if he had just been healthy? I think we'd be a lot closer to thinking like, well, what can they get for Patrick Williams? Because they're not that far away from being as good as Cleveland or like lower it even Miami, whatever, Brooklyn, if they're not all the way. Like, I think it's a lot closer question if he's healthy, and that's just bad luck because like that was a good deal to get ball. Like that they did that right, I think.
So my trade for them, there was the rumor report that they wanted 2 first-round picks for Alex Caruso. Then there was a report that the Nuggets were shopping Bones Highland. So my trade was Christian Brown and Bones Highland for Alex Caruso and Javonte Green. I view that as the equivalent of 2 first-round picks. Brown, first year of his rookie scale, showing some defensive toughness. If he can hit his free throws and get his threes up in more volume, he'd be good. Bones Highland, they could use, like, you have Goran Dragic, you have Kobe White. He's probably an upgrade over both as a bench scorer. I still think this is a move you make if you're looking at pivoting into a bigger picture direction. So I was curious as to, let's just say the move is Chicago is looking at other trades to sell. Who says no to this framework, which is Christian Brown and Bones Highland for Alex Caruso and Javonte Green, who injured right now, but if he comes back from, I think it's a knee problem, he's actually he's really going to help you with your front court defense if you're Denver.
I wonder. Well, I guess Chicago says no only because they might disagree that those two guys are the same as 2 first round picks.
That's
But
fair.
and that's mostly a statement that I love it for Denver because I think I don't value Highland that highly because it's just I mean seems like he's clashed with Mike Malone. He doesn't defend. He's that kind of live wire second unit scoring is not that valuable. I do like Brown, but he's just such a low usage piece as a rookie that Caruso's impact would be so huge for Denver that I'm good with that. I think the Bulls might be correct in thinking like we can get a legit first for Caruso if we're
What would you do if you're the Nuggets? Would you change it up to go Bones Highland in your 2029 first for Caruso?
So then that's just a question of is Brown or a 2029 first more valuable? I guess that 29 first is more
You're getting
valuable.
the immediacy of Bones. So
Yeah.
maybe. And you have
Yeah.
Portland's 2023 pick this year.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, then you definitely trade Kobe White, I guess. But that was,
Yeah, I mean,
think,
that's
what
it.
you think you
You
have
had
him
to
as
let him
just
walk
like,
for nothing and you're okay. It's just like
yeah, that's not bad. I'm with that.